Hey everyone, got a review on a drink for you today, which is called Teeccino. I think that's how it's pronounced, but I'll put a link below so you can have a look at what it is itself. But this is a caffeine-free drink, which is a chicory extract, which is kind of like an idea of if you're trying to switch from drinking coffee all the time to something alternative. This is something that I've found on the internet and read a few reviews and thought I'd give it a go. So I'm trying to drink less caffeine and less coffee actually, because without going too much detail, I suffer from a problem called leaky gut, and having too much coffee, not the actual caffeine itself, but the actual coffee bean, can irritate your gut lining. And if that's something you suffer from, put it in the comments below and I can talk to you more about that, or maybe do a video about that if you find that interesting. But this drink in itself, if you look inside, it's hard to see, but it's kind of like a powdery, it does look like ground coffee. It's really hard to see, sorry, because of the light in here, but there you go. It does look like kind of ground coffee-ish. And I've got a pot of it brewing there, so you can see it looks pretty much like coffee. You get a little bit of a crema as well, which is does look like coffee itself. So on here it says medium roast, strong coffee bites, softened with sweetness from dates and figs. So this is completely natural form of drink. So you can see on here it's got, I'm just trying to get the right position, here we go. So you can see it's got carob, organic barley, organic chicory, dates, almond, natural coffee flavour and organic figs. So I have been drinking this for about, well, I sort of tried it on and off for a couple of months, and to say that this is a kind of a different, well, to try and get you off drinking coffee, I'm not sure if I'd agree with that. It doesn't taste anything like coffee, and it's actually quite sweet and a little bit, I found it a little bit sickly. So for the price, it's quite expensive for a packet of this stuff. And I've just found that it has like a sickly taste, and I don't particularly like it, but I'm just finishing this off because I bought it and might as well use it. But I found in terms of coffee, hasn't got anything anywhere near the sort of flavour of coffee. So to call it, this kind of, there's this kind of recommending to wean you off coffee, I wouldn't say that's probably right. It isn't anything like coffee. Yes, you make it like coffee, and it looks like coffee, but it doesn't taste anything like coffee. So if you are a coffee lover and you're trying to kick the habit of getting off the coffee, then yeah, certainly you could try something like this. But if you're after a coffee flavour, this is nowhere near anything like tasting like coffee. In fact, I've had a chicory style drink, which I got from a health food store, which tasted more like coffee. And I think because this has got figs in it and almonds, it gives it this quite sweet taste. And I think without that, it probably tastes more like coffee. So if you're after something that tastes more like coffee, just get yourself a chicory based drink. What I have also been using, just as a side note, so I normally drink yerba mate tea, and I brew that tea. I'm just kind of towards the end of this now, but I use this a lot, and yerba mate actually contains caffeine. So it's a South American tea, and it's brewed in a really interesting way. But if you just Google it, you'll find more information about yerba mate. But I like yerba mate because it gives you like a nice time release energy burst, rather than caffeine kind of going straight to your head and getting that kick and then needing another cup later on. I find if I brew a batch of yerba mate, I just get this kind of nice infusion of caffeine and energy without having that crazy rush. It's quite good for focus, and when you're doing some work or writing something, and you've got to focus on some work, this is quite a good tea. So I recommend yerba mate. It's a really, really nice tea. Yeah, it's nothing like coffee, but it's not supposed to be. It's tea. It has a kind of its own distinct flavour. Whereas this stuff hasn't got any caffeine in it, so if you're after something to give you a bit of an energy kick, obviously it's caffeine free, so you're not going to get any kind of crazy energy rush. You're just going to get the flavour of what this is. And I just kind of describe it, I said, as a sweet flavour. And I'll just show you, I'm just going to kind of press the brewing plunger on this now. So I press that down, and if I pour this into the coffee cup, hopefully you can see what it looks like. So yeah, it does look a lot like coffee, but I'm just going to take a sip and kind of describe it to you, what it tastes like. 1 second. So, yeah, I mean, it's a nice warm drink, but it's kind of got a sweet note to it. So it tastes, yeah, I don't know. Some people might find, depending on the coffee you're used to, you might find that it tastes a little bit coffee-like to a degree. But I think if you just want to taste like black coffee, you're better off just with chicory, standard chicory powder that you can get in any kind of health shop. But I'll put a link to this below, guys. Obviously, check it out, have a look if it's something you're interested in. But if you're trying to kick caffeine and reduce your caffeine consumption, which is something I do recommend, because having too much coffee or drinking too many caffeinated products can increase things like cortisol in your body, so that's a stress hormone. And if you're already stressed out and you're drinking loads of coffee, you're going to kind of increase that hormone. So having a break from caffeine, even if it's every other week or just having a few days off, can be a good thing. And I say yerba mate tea is kind of my go-to because it's got caffeine in it and it's nicely released. Whereas something like this, you're not got any caffeine in, so you're still going to probably have low energy or whatever, but you're just going to get the flavour of a warm beverage. Hope you found this useful, guys. Again, as always, any comments below, stick them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Cheers.